Alright, let's get started. So let's begin by everyone going to their AWS console. If you still need help setting up an AWS account in general, we have Sam and Stephanie over there. They can help you get set up. So once everyone's there, just give me some sort of signal to know that you're ready to get going. Alright, let's start to get to it then. So from your AWS console right here, you'll go to IAM. This is where you can basically make sure your account is secure and set up users for your accounts. And what we're going to be doing is actually setting up a user so that we can do things programmatically in AWS. So we'll go to IAM. These right here, they give you indication of how secure your account is. It's recommended you go through and make sure these are all secure. I'm kind of lazy, so I haven't done these two yet. But let's move on to users right here. So your user will be able to actually do things programmatically. You see I have a user set up for myself here, but I'll actually create a new user to follow along with everyone here. So what you'll do is you'll add a user. Now for the username, just in general for an AWS account, I recommend you do them as emails, just so, for example, when you have multiple people on an AWS account, you can send them information about the account because you'll have their email address. So for this example, I will do the email address for the club. I'll make this a little bigger. Alright, so for the access type, we're going to definitely click programmatic access. And this is what we'll need, as I'll show you guys. If you want to also make this user able to log into the console, then you'll also follow along the steps of here, which will additionally have you create a password, essentially. You can do that on your own if you want. It won't really change much to what we do. I'm just going to focus on programmatic access, though, for this. So next, we'll supply permissions. So when you're creating different accounts, often you'll want different accounts to do different things. So you'll give them a limited set of permissions. Again, I'm going to be super lazy and just make this an administrator. So we can do pretty much everything. Yep, and I got there from going attach existing policies directly, and then they already have set up an administrator access one. So from here, and if I end up going too fast, just someone signal to me to slow down, or to repeat something if you want me to go back. So after this, you'll go to the bottom and you'll review what you have. You should have the username, programmatic access, and then maybe additionally console access. And then the policy should be administrator access. So now we will create the user. Alright, so this is very important. What they give you is an access key ID and a secret access key right here. You'll need to put these in order to actually set up your accounts to work on your local machine. Right now, we're going to just download the CSV file so we can keep it. Because once you create your account and you leave the screen, it will never again show you the access key or the secret ID. But it lets you save it. So we're going to save this. Right now I saved it as credentials.csv, my downloads file. Alright, and then you can hit close. We're good to go. We have this new account right here. And now it is time to set up Python. So just a show of hands, who has Python already set up on their machine that they're using? All right, nice. So for the Windows people who need Python, Sam can help you out installing Python. Just kind of signal over to him. We're going to need Python to follow along with AWS because their AWS CLI is actually using Python to run. So he'll help everyone set up there. It should be relatively easy. Sam, how did it take you to install just from the website?
Yeah, I just have to make sure that I don't have any weird third-party software. Like, I had a weird version of Anaconda or something that was messing with my Python libraries. Otherwise, it's just fine.
Yeah. So if you don't have Python, just real quick, you can go to python.org, go to downloads, and it should right here say Windows for you, and just download. It doesn't really matter which version of Python you choose. I'm partial to Python 3, but it shouldn't really impact the rest of what you're doing. So I'll continue for the people who have Python, and then for all of you who are downloading, I can go back afterward and help you out. Also, the screencast of all this will be posted on the website after. So from here, after you have Python installed, right here, in this example, I don't have Python. This is actually running in a Docker container, which we'll talk about next week, which is extremely powerful. But here I will install Python. And this just looks cool. Alright. And this is running on Ubuntu on my machine. So everyone who has Python, also make sure you have pip. You can do this by just typing in pip, and yeah, it should tell you all about it. Let's go to AWS pip. So you should see something like this. If you just type in pip itself, you can do pip.h. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so show of hands again, kind of like that. Does everyone who has Python have pip as well? Yeah, pip itself is used just to download Python files that you would actually use. Yeah, so if you want to install certain dependencies, you can do that using pip.
So if you're on Windows, which like command line would you type this in?
Yeah. So with Windows, once you have it installed, the command will also be pip as well. Yeah. If you download a new version of Python, it should come with pip. Yeah. So it comes by default with Python 2.79 and 3.4 and later, included with by default. So if you don't have pip, try installing a new version of Python. If you're using Python 3, your pip might actually be called pip3, and that's something to be aware of as well. And this is also another option for everyone, especially Windows people, but you can actually do this on the Keller machines. If you, right now, this is me SSH'd onto a Keller machine. So trying this out, you'll only be able to do pip installs if you are using a virtual environment. We'll put a doc on how to do that later. But so right now I'm able to run AWS commands from a Keller machine. And if anyone's interested in that, they can send an email. If we see enough people are interested in that, we'll post what you guys need to do to set this up as well. So show of hands, who all has Python and pip set up? Alright, nice, awesome. Majority of people. So we'll continue going. What you'd want to run now is, let's double check this. Yeah. So to upgrade your pip, you should run this command. I'm using pip3, so I'll do pip3, but pip3 install, is it 1 or 2? 2 dashes. Upgrade pip. This will just make sure you're on the latest version. Yeah, oh yeah. Install dash dash. Upgrade pip. The latest version is, yep, it's up to date. The latest version, I believe, is 9.1. So once you're up to date with your version of pip, in order to get everything you need, it's pip install AWS CLI Bodo 3. So AWS CLI, this one, is what will allow you to run things in Bash, for example. Run AWS commands in Bash. Bodo 3 is what allows you to run AWS commands within Python itself. So you could make just downloading either of these work. I'd recommend having both, just so you can go with whichever flavor tickles your fancy. Yeah, and I'll leave this up for a minute. So once you guys have AWS CLI installed via pip, you should be able to run commands such as, like if you type in AWS, right now it says I don't have a config profile. We're going to set that up now. So you type in AWS configure. Alright, I see the issue. Gonna leave this real quick. Go here. So this is the install process here. And then we do AWS configure. And what it'll walk you through is, I don't know if you all can see it down low. If you can't, let me know. What it wants is your AWS access key ID. So we will go over to where we installed the CSV file. And you can see that right here is an access key ID. So I'm just going to copy and paste that here. Then it wants the secret access key ID. So I'll go and copy and paste that as well. Right here. And then it wants a default region name. The different regions correspond to different data centers that AWS has around the world. By default, it's currently US West 2, which is in Oregon, I believe. There are different ones you can do, but we'll start with this one for now. So, yep, US West 2, all lowercase, separated by dashes. And then it wants your default output formats. This is where you can specify JSON or YAML. JSON is probably the best way to start. So JSON. And then you have it set up. So in order to test that you have everything, you can do AWS STS get caller identity. What this command does is it connects to your AWS account and basically asks, who am I? So it gives you your user ID, what you put in there. And as you can see, yeah. And then it gives you the account ID. So this is the ID for the account. And then it gives you who you are. In this case, I am the cloud at umn.edu. That's what I specified the account to be. This is a good way to ensure that your computer is connected to your accounts very quickly and easily without actually impacting anything you have up there. So once you get this working, you actually are done with the setup process. You can now run AWS commands on your computer. So let's look at, and show of hands, who's all at this process, like at this point. Great. Great. And again, if anyone needs help, just signal to Sam and Stephanie and they can help you out. Yeah.
Do you have to do anything special other than I installed Python twice and I still don't have it?
Don't have pip?
Yeah. You need like a tree. Pip tree. Like this. Pip tree.
No, I mean the tree number. The number.
Yeah,
Oh,
pip 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried pip 3 too. But I can't.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna connect to the HDMI real quick.
Yeah. So Sam's gonna connect up to show some of the Windows people how to go about